This video is to explain the M&M Project Part 3. Now, to refresh your memory on what we have done already with this project, way back at the beginning of the year, we each went out and collected 3 bags of M&Ms and counted the number of candies. We combined them into a big spreadsheet, and then the second part is we determined a summary of these by finding a histogram and finding something that looked like this in terms of the proportions of each of the colors, the mean number in each bag, the standard deviation number of each bag, and then the total number of bags. Now the data here that I'm showing is not our data. This is from a couple years ago. But if you look at the paper you have now for part 3, and you look on the back of this paper, you will see a summary of our data from this year. So you can see this line here has the number of candies of each color. Here is our total number of candies, 7,427. And then here is the proportion for each of these colors. The mean and standard deviation has to do with the mean and standard deviation for the number of candies in each bag. And then 134 is how many bags of candy that we surveyed. What we're going to do today in today's lab is we're going to construct confidence intervals for those candies. So we will construct confidence intervals for the proportions of each color as well as the mean number per bag. And you will use the methods of 6.3 for proportions and 6.1 for mean. Now, as simple as this sounds, look at the words in the problem. They will tell you what you're doing. If the problem says proportion in it, that's what we did in 6.3 with p hat. That's what we did yesterday. If the problem says mean in it, then we are going to do what we did in 6.1. We're going to use z sub c for this instead of t, even though that's where our standard deviation comes from, because our sample size is so large. So what we're going to do is it goes to the back here and it explains how to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to need the information from part 2. Now this has some random numbers in it that we don't need to know. But what the important thing is, if you're going to find the confidence interval for blue, 21.39, that is your p hat. Your n, your sample size, is 7,427. Your z sub c, we are doing a 95% confidence interval because that's what we're all using here. And you use all that information, just like we did yesterday in 6.3, and you're going to construct a confidence interval for blue. Do the same thing for orange, same thing for green, same thing for yellow, same thing for red, same thing for brown, each one using the different p hat for each color. Okay. Your n doesn't change, but your p hat and your q hat changes for all of your colors. So all of your errors will be different and so forth. Once you do those, then the last one here is find a confidence interval for the mean total number of candies per bag. That is now a z sub c. So we are coming down here, and realistically, because our number is so big, 134, there is not much difference if we use a z or we use a t. It doesn't really matter. And now our x bar is 55.42. Our s is 2.04. Now our n changes to 134 because we're looking at the number of bags, not the number of candies, the number of bags. So all of that changes to find our z confidence interval, or t confidence interval. I said very, very similar because of the number of candies that we have. We have a large number. Now, the final question is how many candies using our formulas, assuming that the known proportion of candies is 0.24, to use that in your formula, and using that formula to calculate that. So this is the lab we are doing today. This is the M&M Project Part 3.